Are you ready to hire this year, but afraid to take the leap? I got you. After spending the last 10 years as a CEO, hiring for a growing company and helping hundreds of my clients hire, I want to share with you the lessons I've learned so that you don't have to go through this the hard way. You are listening to Business by the Books, the podcast that teaches you how to use your financials to manage your business. My name is Danielle Hayden, CPA and founder of Kickstart Accounting Inc., where we use bookkeeping as a vehicle to help business owners take control of their numbers once and for all. I've helped thousands of business owners make informed financial decisions for over a decade. Today, we're going to be diving into the top do's and don'ts of hiring. So in this episode, you can look forward to learning what exactly to avoid when hiring, the lessons I've learned that you can steal for yourself, and how to cultivate the confidence to hire for the first time or again. So if you're ready to hire in 2024, I want you to stick with our hiring series of Business by the Books. Now, I could tell you hundreds of stories of myself and my clients who have experienced some of these do's and don'ts that we're about to walk through together. But there's one client in particular that really touches my heart. Not only do we do all of the bookkeeping behind the scenes and we send our clients their financial statements, but we also have regular financial review calls. And during the financial review calls, this is the opportunity for our clients to be able to ask questions and to be able to get the support that they need as business owners. Bookkeeping is about the numbers, but it's also about getting the support that you need as a business owner. So my client had come to me and said, I am ready to hire in my business, but I feel like I'm too small. I don't look like the other business owners online. I don't feel like I have enough stability in my business. I don't know how to teach this individual how to do my job, right? I do so much in my business and it's all up here. Everything that I do comes so naturally. It's just part of who I am and part of what I do for my business. I don't know how to teach somebody and it's leaving me stuck. And her and I had this amazing conversation that day. We walked through her numbers and we determined whether or not she could even afford to hire at that point. And not all stories end in a fairy tale ending. During that call, we used the strategies that we discussed in episode 162 and 163 of Business by the Books to determine if she could afford to even hire in her business. And unfortunately, we found that she couldn't afford to hire yet. That if she took on that team member at that time, she could have left her business or that team member in jeopardy. So we put together a plan. Over the next 6 months, my client worked so hard. We determined exactly how much money she needed to have saved in order to hire her next employee. As she worked through the numbers and as she worked through her building her savings, she was able to gain the confidence to let go of the story she was telling herself, to let go of the story that she was too small, that she wasn't enough, and that she didn't have stability. Knowing her numbers and accumulating the savings fund allowed her the time and space to gain the confidence. Now, I know so many of us business owners, we're trying to clone ourselves, and we need to take all of this knowledge in our head and be able to give that to somebody else. What we did instead was made a list of all the key things that she did on a regular basis so that she can start to build out standard operating procedures. By building out the standard operating procedures via Loom videos, right? It was just her recording herself during the day, making notes, nothing perfect, but having a general place to start. Again, allowed her to accumulate the confidence. So when it was time to hire her first employee, oh my gosh, did she step up to the plate and knock it out of the ballpark. So let's go through the do's and don'ts that we used with this client to help arm her with the confidence that she needed in order to find success in her hiring. Let's go through the don'ts first. I always like bad news first. The first thing I want you to avoid doing is waiting too long. And I don't just mean waiting too long to actually make the hire. I mean waiting too long to start to run the numbers. I don't want you to avoid your numbers. I want you to embrace them as a strategic tool to help you build your business. The numbers are there for you as a tool. There's nothing to be afraid of when we're looking at our numbers. Our numbers can help arm us with the information that we need so that we can make better business decisions and grow our business. So the first thing is to embrace knowing your numbers. Again, go back to episode 162 and 163 to determine whether or not you can actually afford to hire. If you put off that first step, you can never go on to actually hiring this team member, at least not with confidence, right? You might hire somebody, but not confidently. So don't wait too long so you don't have the energy, right? When you are a business owner, and you know you need help, you can't put off hiring that team member just because you're scared. And you can't put off running the numbers to know whether or not you can afford to hire just because you're scared. As business owners, we need to be able to do the hard things. You are responsible for your business. You are a responsible business owner and CEO. So the first step is to run your numbers and don't wait too long. Next, stop trying to hire your clone. And now this is something that I made the mistake of early on. I kept on thinking that I needed people who knew exactly how to do what I did in order for us to be able to succeed as a company. Oh boy, was I wrong. What I really needed was people who could complement my strengths. I have weaknesses, right? Just like you do. And so it's important for us to know what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses so that we can find the people who their strengths are our weaknesses. And that way we can complement each other and then we can do more. So we don't need to find our clone in order to grow our business. We actually need to find the person who is opposite of what we are so that we can build on each other and to succeed together as a team. All right, number 3 on our don't or stop doing list is stop trying to be so fancy or perfect. We can be open to new ideas and new possibilities, but you don't have to recreate the wheel and you don't have to be perfect. Perfectionism is the killer of entrepreneurship. I heard this early on in my entrepreneur journey, and I definitely live by this. A B+ and complete is better than A+ any day. I have learned my greatest lessons in business and really in life by being open to trying things, learning from them, and then trying again. If I was stuck in being perfect, right? I need to perfect my job description. I need to have the perfect list of responsibilities. I need to have the perfect list of standard operating procedures. I need to have the perfect handbook. I would have never hired, right? Because I have no idea how to do any of those things perfectly. But I could put something into the world and learn from it and grow from it and keep on trying and doing things differently, right? It doesn't need to be fancy and it doesn't need to be perfect. Lastly, stop telling yourself a story. We all have stories going on in our heads, and these stories might be keeping you small. If you're telling yourself that you are not good enough, that your business isn't big enough, that you don't have enough, you will always stay small. Now, the best way that you can start to rewrite these stories is to observe them. We have a whole program on money mindset mastery where we walk through our stories and how it impacts our business. But I want to give you very specific action steps, right? This is the No BS Action Step podcast. And I want to give you what you can do today. And so as you approach your numbers, are you telling yourself a story? I'm not good at numbers. I've never been good at math. I'm not good at managing my money. When you're thinking about hiring somebody, are you telling yourself a story? I'm not big enough. What if I don't have enough business to sustain this person? What if I hire them and I have to let them go? By telling ourselves these stories, we are letting fear run our business. Now, as you hear these stories, the first step is to observe them, to observe the stories. Then we can question it. Is it really true? Is that story you're telling yourself really true? And is there somebody that I can ask for help to rewrite this story? Right? Maybe it's calling your bookkeeper. Maybe it's talking to your tax accountant. Maybe it's talking to an HR consultant or your business coach, your financial advisor. As a business owner, you need to surround yourself with the experts who can help you achieve your goals. Lean on your experts to have them help you rewrite your story. All right, now let's talk about the few things that I want you to go take action on right now, right? There's a few things that you can do to learn from my mistakes and all of my clients' mistakes. The first step is to change your mindset, right? We just talked about our stories and how they're keeping you small. But you also have the authority and the confidence, and I know that you can change your mindset. You are a real business. You are not too small. You do not have to go at this alone. You are a leader and you are a CEO. We'll get back to the show in 1 second, but real quick, are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed by your finances? Do you find yourself wishing you had more control and understanding over your money? Managing your business finances can often feel like navigating a ship through a storm without a compass. But what if instead you could master your business finances in just 5 days? With the confidence to manage your money, make informed decisions for financial stability, and implement strategies to increase your profitability effortlessly. And that's exactly why the 5-day video bootcamp was created. It's a comprehensive course designed to empower you with the foundations for financial success. Throughout the bootcamp, you'll learn the foundations, how to manage costs for profitability, evaluate investments for growth, and avoid common financial pitfalls. So if you're ready to take charge of your financial journey and rewrite your success story, head over to esuite.co/5-day bootcamp or click the link in the show notes and sign up for the bootcamp today. Okay, back to the show. I'll never forget one of my clients. She owns a brick and mortar store here locally. And she said to me, it's just my little business. It's something that I'm doing while the kids are at school. And, I just am not sure that I can bring on anybody else because this is just my little thing that I do. And I sat with it for a few minutes and I thought to myself, how should I approach this? Because this woman had no idea the amazing impact, the amazing growth that I had seen in her and her business and in her numbers. Now, she was afraid of her numbers. She had never been good at money. She had ran herself into debt personally and had a really difficult time finding the confidence in herself. So I took a deep breath and I slowly walked her through, showing her the numbers so that she could see the amazing growth that she had had over the last 3 years. This woman was doing almost $500,000 in sales in this very tiny shop. She was incredible, but she needed to rewrite her story so that she could step into her power as a leader and CEO. Now she is still doing amazing business here and employs several people. She just needed to rewrite her story to change her mindset so that she could step into her growth. All right, next we need to know your numbers. You will need to be able to react quickly to save your business if it comes down to it. I don't want to ignore the impact of hiring. Hiring has this amazing impact that allows us to grow rapidly as business owners. But hiring can also put us at risk as business owners. And it's important that we take responsibility for our business as we begin to hire. Go back to episode 163, where I told you a story about one of my clients who had a negative impact of hiring in her business. I am not going to just tell you guys the sunshine and roses part of hiring, right? There are stories that we have the opportunity to learn from. I want you to take responsibility as a business owner to monitor the KPIs to make sure that you are acting responsibly for your business. Our goal for all of us, my goal for you, is for you to be able to run a healthy, sustainable, and profitable business. And so we have to always monitor these key performance indicators to ensure that we're remaining profitable and that this is long-term a healthy and sustainable business. Next, we need to start to take some action. And I will go through every single detailed step of this in next week's episode. But your homework is to start to think about, how will you onboard your new team members? How will you start to build out your standard operating procedures as a business owner? What specific tasks are you good at? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What tasks do you need this person to take over for you? And then what systems will you use for your new team member? I want to set you up for success. We'll need payroll, time tracking, benefits, communication. We're going to go through all of those in detail next week. Your homework between now and then is to think about your mindset. Determine if you can afford to hire. How will you track your KPIs as you hire? And how will you start to onboard your new team members? We'll be back next week with a full guide on how to hire employees in your business. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week on Business by the Books. I have a favor to ask. If you have gotten any value from this show and you want the show to continue to grow and keep providing you with strategies for financial growth and efficiency, simply leave us a rating and review if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. Those reviews really go a long way in attracting more listeners, and honestly, they really make my day. So if you're feeling up to it, we'd love to see a rating and review from you. Either way, thanks so much for listening to the show.